point your finger to the bottom right of page 277. This is our essential question for this chapter, okay? Also, if you would like, you can have your vocab sheet out. How do plant and animal structures support growth and survival? Okay, I want you to turn and talk to your neighbor about what you think the answer to this could be.
I think it should be the structure. Sometimes food is if it's like that, like every animal. Also, like insects, maybe in case it's not and should have a modern method. No, every
Thanks.
Hey, Gemma and Carter, I don't think that's what she asked you to do. I mean, yeah.
In case it's the live.
Okay, for this example, let's use the giraffe here. How does the giraffe's structure support their growth and survival, Eloise?
Its system is made of different structures.
So how do these structures support growth and survival, Kaden? Let's talk about this giraffe here.
I think that they have supports them because they use their one neck to get leaves from big trees.
Kaden is exactly right. So, the giraffe's structure, for example, their internal structure, and you can also see it in their external structure, their long neck allows them to reach the food that they want to eat, which means that they are able to survive. So, what I'm going to put here is that the giraffe's neck structure allows for them to reach their food. And then we're going to emphasize that food is necessary for survival. Okay, so how do the giraffe's long neck, tongue, and legs give it a survival advantage over shorter animals? So their neck structure allows for them to reach their food, and that food is necessary for survival. So all of this food here at the top of the tree, other animals can't reach, but they can. Okay, so they are adapting to that kind of food. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and read through the chapter, and we're going to highlight some important parts, but I'm going to give you another minute to write, so don't worry. Okay, here I go. We're going to come back to page 280 after we read. Okay, so go ahead and skip to 284 because we're going to read through this and do some highlighting, okay? So who wants to read this first paragraph for me? Eloise, Trevor, read the second one. Ella, read the third. Harper, read the fourth. And then, so this functions one just split in half with Clara. Okay, let's read this, and I want everyone following along. And where you see me highlight, you need to highlight. Okay? Number 1.
Each organism is a system. The system is made of different structures or organized parts that work together to help the organism survive.
Highlight what I'm highlighting.
Plants have internal or atom structures that are easy to see. The plant system also has structures that are internal or inside the plant. These internal structures can best be seen and understood by cutting or
Dissecting the plant.
dissecting the plant. When you cut open an aloe plant, which has stiff green exterior, you find a clear gel inside. Interior structures can be surprising like this.
Interior structures and plants take on many shapes. They can be large or so small that you can see them with only a microscope. Each kind can be in just one part of a plant or throughout many parts of the plant. The kind of internal structure plants have depend on their
Environment. Okay, Harper, so you're going to start off on functions, and a sentence or two before it talks about the ovary of a flower. Go ahead and hand it off to Clara.
Okay. Each structure of a plant has a function or particular job. Some of the most important functions are survival, protection, and reproduction. The internal structures of a plant function to help the plant survive and remain healthy. They may
Aid.
in protection or help with growth and reproduction. The functions of each kind of internal structure are more specific.
Thank you. Thank you, Harper. Go ahead, take it over, Clara.
For example, the function of a flower is female
Reproductive part.
reproductive part that helps the plant produce. Its function is to produce eggs and provide the place for seeds to develop. The seeds inside a tomato start out as eggs in the ovary of a tomato flower.
Awesome, thank you. So before we move on, we're actually going to go right back to page 280. We're going to switch it up just a little bit and complete this together. So, how do your eyes respond to differences in lighting, okay? Page 280, we're just flipping back a few pages, okay? Okay, awesome. So, scientists analyze how a system changes in response to a variable. Does this sound familiar, guys?
Variable.
Yep, we've got variable and how something changes depending on a variable, okay? So, how can you investigate how the human eye reacts to light? So, before we do number 1, this is where you're going to look at your neighbor. You're going to have a very special moment, okay? So you're going to look closely at the eyes of another student. You're going to find the pupil, which is the dark circle in the middle of the eye. Okay? Predict what will happen to the pupil when the environment has more and less light. So take a second and look at the pupils of your neighbor, and then we will talk about it.
Yellow in your eyes. an ice, my brother threw an ice box under it. What is yours? I think everyone does.
Okay, class. So, how are we going to write our prediction? Okay, so you've looked at your neighbor's pupil, okay? You know what it looks like. It's the dark gray. It's a dark black circle in the middle of your eye. So, after you do that, let's predict what will happen to the pupil when the environment has more and less light. Who wants to give me a prediction? Gemma?
When
I predict
when the world has less light, the glare in the pupils will fade away.
Okay, let's talk about the size though. Ella?
I predict when the light gets a lot darker, your pupil will get bigger.
So I predict that the pupil will get, and write your own prediction here, but either put smaller or bigger with more light. So I'm going to I predict that the pupil will get smaller with more light. Okay, go ahead and turn and talk to your neighbor for a minute about how we can test this hypothesis. After you finish writing it down, of course.
So I think it's like
Okay, class.
Yes.
I need some very realistic and logical plans on how we can test our hypothesis. Eloise?
We can turn on the lights and turn them back off.
That is a really great one. So, before I call on some other people, something that we can do is with your partner, I will turn off the lights and then turn them on and see if the pupils grow or if they get smaller. Okay, we'll talk about that. But what are some other ways we could do it, Ella?
you could look at like a very bright like computer screen, and then look at like non-bright computer screen.
And see how your pupils look different?
Yeah, like with the camera on.
And what about you, Stella?
Look into the sun.
You could look at the sun and then you could see. Well, I'm talking about stuff we could do with our partners. Okay, Luke?
The other day, I fell down when I tried to get a rebound on the back of my head, and then my mom said my pupils got big because they have a pink
Okay, so I'm going to take a few more suggestions. Okay? Henry.
I think that what we do with partners is that we look at the pupils and then we shade one side and see if they get smaller or bigger.
Okay, so you could do something as simple as doing this, and then when your pupils are exposed to light, your partner could look really quickly and see if your pupils get bigger or smaller. So you're going to have to get up close and personal with it. Okay, Trevor. It's only weird if you make it weird. Okay, that is another minute. Actually, at 2 minutes because we're not learning our lesson. Maybe the more time we get off recess, maybe one day we'll learn our lesson. Okay, Trevor, go on.
Maybe I was gonna say we could go outside in the daytime and at night.
No, that is a really good one. You could measure it at daytime versus night, but we are at school. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, we are going to do 2 really quick experiments. The first one, I'm going to turn the lights off. You and your partner, if you don't have a partner or you're in a group of 3, just like come closer together. I'm going to turn the lights off, quickly turn them on. You're going to make your observations. Do you guys want another minute? Because I never stop talking. It's disrespectful. Okay, Okay, the second thing we're going to do, just to make sure we've really tested our hypothesis, we're going to cover our eyes for like 5 to 10 seconds and then move our hands and our partners will see. Okay, so first one we're going to do is the lights. Okay, so get situated.
No.
You three can work
Yes.
We're going to get another minute, guys. Okay, I'm waiting until we are silent. I'm waiting until we are silent. Okay? Okay, I'm going to turn the lights off for like 5 seconds. You can also cover, like, do this. Luke said do this. That's a good one, too. Okay? Okay, I'll tell you, make sure to pay attention. I'll do a countdown of when I turn the lights back on. Okay, ready? Make sure to look at those pupils. 3, 2, 1. Look at those pupils. Effects better. Okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Look at this people! Okay. Find your seats. Find your seats. I bet you. Okay, find your seats. Find your seats. Okay. Let's collect ourselves. I know it's super weird sometimes, okay? Okay, I'm waiting on you guys. So, super fun, and if we can handle it, we'll do fun stuff like that usually. So, we made a plan to test our prediction without just putting a flashlight in our eye, right? So, and we conducted our investigation. Based off of our investigation, how can we respond to how our prediction worked? I want you to turn and talk to your neighbor about a really good response because we're going to be writing it together. And when you and your partner are ready, let's sit quietly and raise your hand. Okay, find your seats, sit down. Okay, who can tell me an answer to our prediction? So we predicted that the pupil would get smaller with more light. Who can tell me what happened? Avery?
When the lights were on, they were just like a single kind of. But then when the lights were off, it was single. But then when the lights turned on, it just went like boom.
So they got bigger?
No, they got small. No.
Is this how we answer questions?
No. We raise our hand.
Okay, somebody raise their hand and tell me what happened. Henry. With more light, what happened?
So when you turned the light off, everybody's eyes just looked like they went so big. And then when you turned it back on, their pupils shrunk back to normal.
Okay, raise your hand if you agree with this.
Yes.
So this is pretty much a basic rule. With more light, our pupils get smaller, and when it's darker out, our pupils get larger. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that with less light. So was our prediction right or was it wrong?
Right.
So it's saying, was your prediction right? So we're going to say yes, comma. The pupil got smaller with more light? Now, the next part of the question, after we put yes, our prediction was right, the pupil got smaller with more light, it's saying, how do you think the pupil helps humans adapt to different environments? So this isn't just a coincidence. This is something that happens on purpose. We don't know, I know why, but you guys don't know why. So how about you guys come up with some guesses on why this happens? Okay, class. Okay, so who can tell me what they think? Trevor?
Me and Henry and Clara said it's kind of like a magnifying glass. Whenever it's lighter, it gets smaller because it doesn't really need
You are on the right track.
It's bigger in the dark. You need more sight to see in the dark.
Trevor, you blew me away with that, but I do need to give some other people a chance. Owen.
Me and Ireland said that your eyes could be allergic to the dark, so sometimes when you get in the sun you go like that.
Yeah.
It could mean that your eyes are kind of allergic to it, and then the dark.
Sensitive to it. How about that word? Sensitive to it.
And then it's it's more. You see a lot more in the dark.
Okay, yeah. No, you're on the right track too. Ella, we're gonna end with you, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Okay, so me and Stella, me and my group, we came up with a hypothesis.
Yeah, hypothesis. You said it exactly right.
That when you're in the light, you're not used to having maybe you could have been used to it, but when the light shut off, how your pupils expand is because you need because it's darker and that you need more people to see because I think that's where you see it at. And then why it gets light right after, or why it gets smaller right after you turn the light back on is because it it goes back and it shrinks because so much light is coming right down into.
So all of you kind of were in the mixing pot of the answers. So actually, you know how some people say when they turn the light on or when they turn the light off, they say let your eyes adjust to the dark or let your eyes adjust to the light. This could be in the morning or when you may have turned the lights off and your eyes have to adjust. So a larger pupil actually allows more light to enter the eye. So this is what happens when it's dark in our house or outside, and at first all we see is pitch black, but then as a few minutes go by we can see some shapes and our eyes start to adjust. So a larger pupil, remember, and the larger pupil is the one we do have in the dark. So a larger pupil allows more light to enter the eye. Which helps in a dark environment. Okay, so go ahead and copy that down. I'm going to leave it up here, and I'll zoom in so you guys can see it a little better. But think about this. This is something that you guys can practice at home, okay? So go in your bedroom and have all the lights on, so make sure it's not pitch black out yet. Actually, it would be better if it were dark out. Okay, so when it's nighttime tonight, maybe before you go to bed, go in your room with all the lights on when it's dark outside, and then turn the lights off and count in your head for how long it takes for your eyes to start seeing in the dark. For some people it's a few minutes, it could be a few seconds, but no matter what, as soon as the lights turn off, it's going to be pitch black, whether that be for a few seconds or a few minutes. And then as your pupil grows, it's allowing you to see in the dark, okay? So, finish writing that down.